Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Occult Think Tank. My name is Greg. In this program, I am going to talk about the idea of a holographic universe. Now, I recognize that this idea of a holographic universe is something that has been made popular by people like Elon Musk. However, there are problems with it, and I'm going to point out some of the problems with it. The first thing you see from this website here, and there's multiple that put forward this idea of the universe being a hologram. My first problem with it is the idea that the universe is two-dimensional. It's not. The universe that we are part of is three-dimensional. There is no two-dimensional aspect to space. Space and the matter in space is as much three-dimensional as everything else. So you can't try to conflate two different issues. The laws of physics that apply on the quantum level are not the same as the laws of physics that apply to you and me. On the quantum level, matter can appear and disappear seemingly at random. On the level of reality that we exist at, matter does not do this. There is a major difference between the laws that govern our level of reality versus the laws that govern the quantum level. I realize that people like Stephen Hawking had tried coming up with a theory of everything, a way to unify the two levels of reality, the quantum and what would be termed the macro, the very small and the very large. The problem is there has not been a theory of everything thus far. There are people that want to try to put forward this idea largely to push a book. And I'm not opposed to people making money pushing books. However, let's be clear. There is no evidence to support the idea that the universe in which we live in, on the level we exist in, is in any way, shape, or form a hologram. It just does not work. I realize people want to try and conflate things that do not jive with each other. One thing that is used to try and push this idea, and I do think of it as pseudoscience, is the aspect of the double slit experiment. Because the double slit experiment is something that is quite interesting. But it is not something that applies to the level of reality that we are at. Like I said, the laws that govern the quantum level are not the same laws of physics that govern the level we're at. That is my chief problem with this idea. There's also, what goes along with this is the idea that there is no out there until you observe it. That, on the level of reality that we're at, is simply bullshit. My house is not only visible in the parts that I look at or that I'm seeing. It doesn't vanish when I'm not downstairs. The downstairs doesn't vanish just because I'm upstairs. that is really conflating the quantum with the level of reality that we're at. And that is what does not work. To try and act as if the two are the same is really comparing apples to oranges. But this idea, I recognize it is a popular one for some, but it is an idea that I would not find appealing even if there were evidence for it. It wouldn't be, because it would raise questions in my mind of what's the point. If everything that we experience is a hologram, then it's not real. So essentially it's saying that life doesn't mean anything. And I have very big problems with that. I see this as leading to a devaluing of life, not a valuing of life. And that is something that I don't think our world needs at this point. It is something that I think socially this idea could be very destructive to the social fabric that holds us as a society together. But the movie The Matrix was very popular. But I think people get to where they want to make life into a movie, and it doesn't work. Because life doesn't have writers. Life doesn't have the things that a movie does. It's conflating two things that need to be kept separate. Because I do feel that the idea of a holographic universe reduces life to a what's the point. And it can really bring in another type of nihilism. And while I am an atheist, I'm not a nihilist. I do not see that basically everything is going to end in heat death, so what's the point? I don't buy into that line of thinking. I see that line of thinking as destructive as the idea that we're a hologram. It is something that I'm definitely interested in looking at, but it's not something that I am even remotely considering as plausible. But I would love to hear your thoughts and ideas on the subject. Feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Later, people.